Hey everybody, welcome to Way of the Dad live Stripe stream number 5. So, boy, um, I have had to adjust a few things I was planning on talking about tonight. We've got some big news we'll be covering, unfortunately on the injury front, and but we will still recap the Falcons game and then preview the Saints game. So we will get to all of that. All right, so let's see if there's. I don't know if there's any housekeeping on the channel to really do. Oh, what am I talking about? Yes, there is. So I want to take a. Well, let me go back. So obviously, I've been working on building this channel, building out the physical nature of the channel, trying to build the online footprint of the channel, trying to make this channel more active in a lot of the places I was already personally active, but trying to act through the channel. So Facebook, YouTube, etc. And yeah, so that's been. It seems like it's been going pretty well. Of course, there's I do these Stripe streams because I'm a huge Bengals fan, and I do other things, movie reviews. Although I haven't done any yet on the video side of things, some of my older episodes, which are audio only, they're on the YouTube channel, but they've been more parenting lessons, things I've learned as a parent, because it is a big deal to me, and I have some of my reasons why that I'll probably get into eventually, in my due time, as a kid growing up and what I experienced, things I saw. I'm not going to sit here and act like I had the hardest life growing up, but you live long enough, you go through enough things, you get your scars, you get your bruises, your dings, your dents, both physically and emotionally, and that's it's pretty standard, pretty par for the course, right? So it's the channel's been growing, so I'm very very grateful and very appreciative for that. Did just get over I think just a couple days ago, channel went over 1,000 subscribers. So I want to take a second and say thank you to everybody who has subscribed. From the bottom of my heart, it means the world. And yeah, pretty cool. I think like 2.5 weeks ago, I was maybe at single digits or really low, and something finally caught. Got some traction, got some visibility. Maybe a few people I know, maybe a few people I don't know, sharing the channel, sharing these individual streams, or I am a little delayed in getting around to hacking up some of these, clipping. I guess that's a term we're going to use these days. Clipping some of these streams into smaller videos. I do need to do that. I am behind on that. I'm aware of it. Life has been quite hectic lately. Busy, busy, busy. And so, um, yeah. So, that was a huge to see that and see it continue to grow on a relatively consistent basis. And like I said, I'm pretty blown away by that. I appreciate so much of what's going on. And haven't had much chance to work on the physical background here in the Way of the Dad partially converted Toolshed Studios. I got to work on that. I got to work on that delivery. Yeah, that's going to need some work. Anyway, but yeah, we're still trying to make some progress, but of course, things come up, between day job and, family responsibilities, and as much as I want to sit out here and do nothing but, record videos and things like that, unfortunately, fortunately, however you want to look at it, my family's always going to come first, so I got to take care of that. do the things I got to do as a dad, as a husband, and even for things for personally for myself. But I will hopefully be able to put some more time into the physical background. I'd like to get this up and running. I'm actually fairly close. I have no idea what that noise was. Something fell on the floor. And getting fairly close to having that going. And okay. So we'll be looking at some of that. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe before. Let's just say I hope to make some progress about getting the physical background up and going. Maybe between November and December. I'd like to have the physical background by next year. And I'm hoping to, drastically overestimate that. But there's some things I need to work on. There's some things I need to finish work on and, get finished work. And the camera I'm using is it's a decent webcam. It's nothing amazing or special. It's a Logitech C920. Offers decent camera quality and things like that, but the field of view is, as you can see, just it's a little on the narrow side. And for the background I'm planning on doing, I wouldn't mind something a little more wide angle, or at least something that's more adjustable. Don't really want to get into a DSLR right now, as much as I know that that's probably the pinnacle or the apex, however you want to term that. It just opens up a whole nother can of worms I have to work out on the tech side before I would roll with that. So looking at some upgraded webcams that have adjustable field of views, maybe even, higher end, visual sensors on them, things like that. So, before we jump into this, a little bit of a ritual that I've apparently started. Let's get the drink of the night. What is the drink of the night, you ask, with bated breath? Wouldn't you like to know? So, you can hear ice cubes clinking. That tells you something. Hint, it's not beer. So, tonight, what do we have here? Look at this beautiful bottle that, well, it's a little more empty than I would prefer it at this moment because that's always a little on the sad side. So, tonight we have Bushmills Black Bush. And we can cue our Beavis and Butthead laughing. Yeah, Butthead. That's pretty good. He said Bush. So Bushmills Black Bush is Irish whiskey, of course. It's from the oldest. It is the oldest. That's right. That's right. I remember. I had to think about that. How that worked. It's the oldest licensed distillery, whiskey distillery. Got its license back in 1608. So it has been doing this for a minute or two. As distilleries go, I guess it would be a boomer. Isn't that what the kids are saying these days? So, the old Bushmills Distillery, Black Bush, and they call it that. It's triple distilled, but this particular version of their whiskey is aged in sherry casks, which gives it its different flavoring, and granted, it's licensed to distill in 1608. Bushmills is the oldest licensed whiskey distillery in the world, known as Black Bush by generations of Bushmills locals. The iconic Irish whiskey is aged in hand-selected Oloroso sherry casks. Through that. Making an exceptionally rich, complex whiskey with Bushmills' signature smoothness. I can attest to that. This is one that I don't go to all the time, but when I do, it's delicious. So, cheers. Delicious. Okay. We're going to stick with the, we'll go ahead and go on with the Falcons game recap. This is going to be a lot of smiling and enjoyableness and just sit back and have a good time with this one because that's what I did, and that's what I imagine most of you Bengals fans out there did on Sunday. So, the game was not a perfect game, so I will talk about a few things that did concern me or that, I don't know, I guess they need work or things I just noticed. But let's be honest, that's going to be a small part of the Falcons recap. There was not a lot to gripe about. There was not a lot to go, yeah, but this is not going to look, it was a good game. It was, quite frankly, I've been waiting for this game all damn year. I've been waiting for a game where by about halftime, you feel like you can relax. You're sure you're still in the game. You're still, wanting them to score points and wanting to see the defense absolutely obliterate the opposing offense. But this game felt, you never say never, and no game's truly over until, everybody says until 0-0-0 on the clock, right? Yeah, well, let's be honest. Some games are over by the fourth quarter. Some games are over by the half. This game felt like it was over sometime around halfway through the third quarter. It felt that way. Doesn't mean it was 100% guaranteed by then, but if you watch a game and you can feel a game, you can feel the momentum, it felt that way. And, of course, it ended up being that way. Now, I do want to say, I want to start with a deep and sincere apology to anybody who watched, to anybody who watched my preview last week, previewing the Falcons game. I want to say I'm sorry. I messed up. I let you down. It's unforgivable, and I made a terrible, terrible error. I apparently projected the Falcons to get too many points. So I had said I'd said the game was going to be I projected a score of 35-24. And I gave the Falcons one too many touchdowns apparently. So I was thrilled about that. But I did call the Bengals score correctly. What does that mean? For all of those of you out here who bet and bet scores and overs and unders and point totals and things like that, what does that mean to you? If you're watching me, not a damn thing. I would not take that. That's just what I felt. Does that mean I'm Nostradamus of the Cincinnati Bengals? Hardly. Been wrong a few times this year already. So, but it is nice. It was a little poetic, even though I did want to see them put that extra touchdown on the board there at the end of the fourth. But when they ended at 35, my buddy Dave looked at me and goes, well, you did say 35. That was nice, Yeah, that felt good. So, but I do apologize for spotting the Falcons one extra touchdown. I apologize. I'll do my best to make sure that never ever happens again. So let's knock out the couple of small things, little things. The things about that game that maybe could have been better or weren't the greatest. And again, mostly very minor. So let's just take that small bit of sour before we get to the sweet. DJ Reader's absence was a little notable. Logan Wilson's absence was a little notable. It wasn't great that they both weren't out there. I mean, it's bad enough we already lost DJ Reader, and then we found out we were losing Logan Wilson. Again, not awesome. Not ideal. I mean, those are two big cogs in the run defense. And, the Falcons, like the Saints, they plan to attack that, and they did. So it was a little notable that there was a few, and then there was a breakdown in coverage. Eli Apple, and I hate to put it all on him, but unfortunately this time, what replays I saw, yeah, it was all him. It wasn't like he had, I don't know, maybe he was supposed to have coverage over the top, but it looked like it was all him. He blew a coverage badly, ended up getting torched all the way to the end zone. And whether on purpose, whether it was pre-planned before that, or it was a response to that. And I say that because I don't know, and quite frankly, none of us do unless you're actually in the locker room. And of course, you're never going to hear a coach say it. But Cam Taylor-Britt got his first significant action of his rookie season pretty much not long, pretty much right after that play, more or less. Maybe on the very next defensive drive. Cam Taylor-Britt was out there at Eli Apple's spot, and Eli Apple was on the bench. I don't know if the entire game, I don't know if he never came back in, but I didn't see him come back in. I didn't see his name called ever again. So, and Eli's had a couple bad couple games. He did some good things in the Saints game, but he also did some, unfortunately, very visible and very notable, not so good things. Is this a surprise? No, not really. I've said this before. I think I can't remember where I said it at on. I want to say it was the Cincinnati Bengals football Who-Dey Nation Facebook page. Every time somebody wants to complain about Eli Apple, and some of those complaints are very valid. Don't take this as for the Eli Apple Homer channel here. It's not. But I do try to be honest and not go with these high emotional swings up and down on someone and forgetting, facts and stats and real stuff. Is Eli Apple, did he ever live up to his first round status? No, God, no, he didn't. He's not. Is he a capable starting quarterback? Notice I said capable. I didn't say great. I didn't say terrible. I said capable. Yes, he's a capable starting quarterback. Is he ideal? Well, no. It's not ideal to have Eli Apple as your starting cornerback. Ideally, you want two absolute Revis Island at his peak style cornerbacks, and that just doesn't usually happen. But can he start for you? Yes. Does he sometimes get burned in coverage? Yes. But anytime we want to lose our minds over Eli Apple and just go crazy and, oh my God, he's trash, he's the worst, he's blah, 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 I would like to remind you of a guy named Dre Kirkpatrick, who was basically a backpedaling pass interference, defensive pass interference machine. It was like a fucking a ticket machine. He'd just pop out pass interference penalties. All he'd do is just run past him just a little faster, and he'd get all grabby, drag someone down and everything else. So, is that to say that we can't and shouldn't want better than Eli Apple? Absolutely not. We should always want better. We should want the best players that we can possibly get. But when we went into the season and they announced Eli Apple was going to be the starting cornerback opposite Who-Dey, I was like, well, yeah, sign him to a 1-year deal. Pretty reasonable deal. I think it was like $4 million, something like that. 1 year, $4 million, $3 million, something like that. Look, that is a value proposition, okay? He's not costing you top tier money, so we shouldn't go expecting top tier play. He knows he's not a top tier cornerback. Otherwise, he'd be asking for more money, and we'd all be laughing because he'd be on the free agent scrap heap right now. But they worked out a reasonable deal for a decent cornerback and one that you can start with if you have to. Remember last year, let's not forget, he was never supposed to be the starting cornerback. That was a guy named Trey Waynes, who I believe many fans tried to call the police and report a robbery on him because he was just... I do feel bad for the guy, to be honest. No NFL player wants to get hurt, truly. Well, I should say none. Some don't mind it because they didn't really love it anyway. But that's pretty rare. Most of them, they want to go out there and want to play. They want to compete. Maybe they don't want to get hurt. Maybe they don't want to get hit real hard. But almost all football players, they want to compete. They just do. And but Trey Waynes was supposed to be the starting corner last year, and hell, I can't remember if he even got on the field, to be honest with you. I think he got on the field just a little bit, and he looked washed, 100% shot. I believe he retired. I'm not 100% sure. Once he was off this team, I didn't care. So anyway, so Eli got burnt. That wasn't good. They took it to the house on that one. It was one of the few times they really passed with some what looked to be intent to make a home run hitter or to take a home run shot. Let's see. Is there anything else on the negatives? Run D wasn't the greatest. I mean, they did a decent job. That's a good thing, so I can't talk about that yet. Like I said, there wasn't much. There really wasn't a lot. The run offense continues to look a little better, but it was still inconsistent, and maybe we could ask for a little more out of it. But overall, it wasn't like it was a boat anchor for the Falcons game, so it was all right. I think that was about it. Oh, there was wasn't there a pretty good return? There was a pretty good punt return, and I remember seeing on Facebook some people talking about like, get rid of Huber, and I'm thinking like, Kevin Huber has nothing to do with a returner making the gunners and the other coverage guys on the coverage team. He has nothing to do with making them like miss. I mean, they had chances to take that guy out, and they didn't. So, thankfully, they kept it from going all the way back to the house. But that wasn't good. So, like I said, really, really minimal things. And if I've said something wrong, I am trying to dig back on the Falcons game, and partially because what the news we heard today kind of really threw me and threw things up in the air a little bit for what I was going to talk about, what I was planning on talking about. So, getting to the sweet, there was a lot of it. Practically cavity-inducing sweetness. First, biggest, most obvious thing. Hey, the offense went out and did their job right off the bat. They went for a kill shot right away. It's like stepping in the ring with Mike Tyson and he lays that left hook on you first. I mean, just boom. Absolutely love that. Love that shot to Tyler Boyd. It was such a beautiful pass. And you're going to hear me say that at least 2 to 3 more times. It was gorgeous. If you have a chance to go back and watch it. Okay, so lots of QBs can make completions. We all know that. I mean, we've seen Carson Palmer at his height. We've seen even the good of Andy Dalton. And of course, if we watch these, we watch other teams, we watch other quarterbacks. Watch that throw again. And notice, it's a long, deep shot, okay? And the farther you think about it, logically speaking, the farther you throw a ball, the more chance that accuracy can be a little off, okay? Not just left to right, sideline to sideline, but also the depth, okay? Hitting someone at the right spot. Watch it again. I don't even know if Tyler Boyd twitches a damn eyebrow. It's perfect. I mean, you just see that puppy coming up over and boom, right in stride. Perfect delivery. It was gorgeous. I mean, Jesus. It was good. It was good shit, okay? It was good shit. So, so that was awesome. I love that they came out and just went out and shoved it right. I mean, just burned them right away. And then they, I can't remember if they answered that next series. No. That's right. We got up at least. I know we got up at least 14-0 before they put a score up. I know. Trying to remember sequence of events here. So, anyway. Let's go back to week 7. I think it wasn't until I know we were up 14. There it is. Game details. Get rid of that stupid video and video box that they want to throw at me. I don't want to see that shit. Scoring drives. There it is. Yep. Give it to me. There we go. Oh, that's right. First quarter. Touchdown. 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 It's like just like an orgy of awesomeness happening. So yeah, that's right. That's right. Tyler Boyd, the first one. Joe Mixon got in 1-yard run, touchdown, and then Jamar Chase, 32 yards for the touchdown. And that was another absolutely gorgeous, Jesus, gorgeous. Here we go again. I told you he was going to hear it again. So Joe drops back to pass, and he's throwing, looking down the field. He's throwing to the right, and he puts it in one of the smallest windows I've ever seen. And I mean literal perfect accuracy, pinpoint precision placement. Piper picked a pickle peppers, something like that, right? And Jamar is double covered. And he drops it in with absolute precision and perfection. And Jamar actually called it the best pass that Joe has ever thrown him. Some people might argue this, that, or the other one. But hey, if Jamar says it, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He was actually on the field, unlike me. I'm just watching at home drinking beer. So that was gorgeous. And then Atlanta did get in. They did, took a long, 10-minute, some odd, roughly 10-minute drive. That slow way that Atlanta, that's the thing that we were worried about with Atlanta, is that they like to run the ball, which is, what is that, the weakness of the Bengals right now? The biggest weakness is the run defense, right? So that was a concern. Well, how do you take that? How can an offense help out their team's maybe weak spot on the run D? It's called put up 21 points before your opponent can put up any. Takes them out of the run game. Now, look, they still did it. They still went ahead and did it anyway. Took 10 minutes off the damn clock. And then what do you do after that? Well, you throw another touchdown pass to Jamar Chase. Who would have thunk? And what it does is that touchdown drive that Atlanta has, it can, help them feel like they're getting back in the game. Okay, it's only 21-7. So now we're only down 2 scores, and it's still just the beginning of the second quarter. We're still in this, guys. And then we throw another 7 on you. Oh, shit. It can take the wind out of it a little bit, right? Now, of course, what kind of sucked, though, was they were able to go down and answer with another touchdown. And this was the one to Mariota to Bird. And this was the one where Eli Apple got burnt bad. We came back out. We weren't able to do anything with it. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was a 3 and out, but we weren't able to do anything with it. Falcons come back out, and they were able to go ahead and get a field goal as time expired in the half. And so even though I've seen some life out of the Falcons, it's like watching someone who they can't win the fight, but you also know that they're not going to go away quietly either. And you're going to have to put them away. And, it's time to stop playing with your food. You know, they're not going to roll over and die, but you also know they can't. They just don't have what it takes to beat you. And that's kind of how I felt at the half, and I was hoping I was going to be right about that feeling. That's what I sensed. And eventually, yep, that's what it was, because in the third quarter, we went ahead and well, Joe ran that one in for a touchdown, Burrow, I mean, and and that was it. Nothing happened in the fourth quarter except a lot of nothingness. From a scoring perspective, obviously things happen. Um, Another good thing, Cincinnati defense continues their streak of not allowing a second half touchdown. Um, they technically, this game, they didn't even allow second half points, period. Not even a field goal. Do you know how hard that is to not allow a field goal in this day and age where everything is geared so hard towards the offense? Not even a field goal. So, kudos to our boys. So, but the passing game finally looked like we all were hoping it would look. Burrow was back there, and he was just dealing. I mean, he was just on fire. He would throw the 5-yard throw, the 12-yard over the middle, the 30-yard out route. He didn't matter. And he just knew where to go. He knew when to let it, when to run from the gun. And I don't know what the split was. I don't think it was quite as crazy as the Saints game where they literally only went under center twice, and that was for a quarterback sneak and a victory formation kneel. I don't think it was quite that stark, but let's just say they didn't go under center very often that I remember in the Falcons game. So they continue to operate almost primarily and independently and exclusively out of the shotgun, which is great because it's allowing them to do what they want with the same looks on offense, spread the defense out so they can't clog up the middle, allows Joe to run, allows Joe to find his hole and cut and make a go. Because when they were running under center, they were also, this is something I'm learning because I don't know it's not like I played football my entire life. When they were running out of from under center, the line's in tighter because they have to provide protection, and and those holes that were supposed to be there just weren't there. But now they're running from a shotgun scheme where everything's spread out. Even the linemen themselves are spread out a little bit more, and I think it allows Mixon the chance to see where the hole's going to be and be able to go and attack it. So, attack the hole. Ooh, there we go. So, sorry, I've been watching Beavis and Butthead a lot lately. So, anyway. So, let's see. That was good. Obviously, Burrow just out there absolutely dealing, throwing it wherever he wants with just perfect precision. And that one shot that he took as he was throwing to Tyler Boyd, and then Tyler Boyd literally reaches out there just one hand. And literally a save and grab, because I think if he misses that ball, there's a defender back there that could have made a play on it. But that just a beautiful one-hand grab, as Burrow gets absolutely lit the hell up, standing back there to deliver that ball. So that was great. I mean, it was just offensively, come on, it was a great game. Defensively, I mean, are there some things there that are, not awesome? Yes. But the offensive game plan, I think, did a great job of minimizing the potential weakness of the D. Because it's not the pass D that's weak, it's the run D. And so you take your opponent out of their plan when you just go out there and put up 21 before they get to score 7. Get up 3 on them. That takes any team out of their plan. I don't care who they are. I mean, I'll give Falcons credit for sticking to the run game a little bit. And then they did have, God, what was it? I think it was in the fourth quarter. They're still down like 28. 28. We put on the other touchdown. It was 28-17, I believe. I don't think we had scored the last touchdown yet for 35. And they go out there and they run this really long drive. No, it was in the fourth quarter. I take that back. I mean, this is a time when, most other offenses are just, they're trying to basically run 2-minute drill the whole damn time. And they're acting like they got 10 seconds left on the clock every single play. Okay? And the Falcons go out there and run this like straight out of 1989 grind it out, run the clock drive. And me and my buddy are looking at each other like, this is awesome. Great. Keep running. Keep letting that time burn off the clocks. Take lots of time back there, standing, either under center or in shotgun, evaluating the defense and, changing the plays at the line. Just let that play clock and that time clock keep burning. Just keep rolling, baby. I have no idea what the plan was there, because there's no way in hell they were going to get back in that game down that much, burning off that much damn time. Like, you're out of your mind. So, yeah. And, yeah, so, a lot of good, really. I mean, let's be honest, a lot of good. Couple little things that were a little worrisome or maybe not ideal, but the score was so high it just didn't matter, you know. And that's not to be a negative Nancy, but I mean, if I see something that doesn't look good, I mean, it may not matter this game, but make no mistake, every other team or every team that's playing the Bengals will watch that and they'll look at that and they're like, oh, is that something we can exploit? Is that a weakness there that we can use? So let's get into, and by the way, anybody who's on right now, feel free to drop a comment, ask a question, be happy to answer and talk about it. I love discussing. I do a lot of the talking here because, well, that's how things are set up at the moment. But if you got a question or a comment, you want to drop it, I'll talk about it as long as it's not basically spam. Every now and then we get the spam bots kicking up. So we got some news to talk about that I'd rather not talk about, and it came out today. So in the Falcons game, I think anybody who was paying attention noticed that Ja'Marr Chase went to the locker room a little earlier than the halftime, just before the half, had tweaked something, was walking a little funny, and went to halftime, came back out. He played pretty much the entire second half, as far as I know anyway. Didn't seem to be limited that I could tell, but again, well, it was noted that he wasn't at practice yesterday. So, no, today. Well, it was today. I know he wasn't there today. I thought I'd heard something about him not being at practice yesterday or walkthroughs or something. Well, it just dropped a little earlier today, and we'll go ahead and go over this. Ja'Marr Chase is expected to miss Monday Night Football, and very likely, I think Malik Wright of the Wright Report was one of the first ones to cover this. Oh, gosh. He was one of the first ones to cover this, and probably going to the IR. So this is not the news any of us wanted to hear. Definitely could have been better, right? So obviously not awesome. Shout out to Josh Mason, who runs a hell of a Facebook group over at Cincinnati Bengals Football Who-Dey Nation. Love Josh Mason. He's awesome. He's always on top of it. Runs a tight group. Doesn't take too much, a little bit of John Wayne there, rough, tough, don't take shit off nobody. So cheers to you, Josh. Keep it up the good work. Would love to talk to you sometime if you ever wanted to. Hit me up. So I do believe it was first reported by Malik Wright, although I believe, your typical people, your Schefters and your Peter Schrager's might have heard about this or might have, I don't know about Schrager. Maybe Schrager would have. But of course, once it got out there, it took virtually like no time at all for everybody else to jump all over it and get it out there. So here's what's going on, and then we have this one over here at Cincy Jungle. Another great place, another great site. They do the Orange and Black Bengals podcast. There it is, Malik Wright. Yep, is out Monday night. Expected to go on IR. Adam Schefter. Ooh, look at you, Malik Wright. Look at that. You beat Adam Schefter to the punch. Doesn't happen very often. Enjoy your moment there, buddy. Good job. So here's the thing with here's the thing with that. So and credit to James Rapine over at Cincinnati Bengals Talk and Locked On Bengals. And this is a little wrinkle I did not know, because I was starting to do the math in my head, like, okay, let's say, if they don't put him on IR, I would say you definitely will not see Jamar Chase until after the bye. If they put him on IR, oh, well, then it's 4 weeks. Okay, well, it'd be the week after the bye, or would that count? 1, 2, whatever. Well, so the problem is if they put him on the IR, designated to return, he will be out 4 games minimum. And there is emphasis on that word for a reason. The bye week does not count. So which means if we were to extrapolate that little puppy out, there we go. So if we extrapolate that out, we are looking at, he will miss the Browns, he will miss the Panthers, he will miss the Steelers and the Titans. At the earliest, if he goes on IR, the earliest he can come back is week 13 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't get me wrong, I would be thrilled to have him back for that puppy, but we need him all the way back. We don't need Jamar to just be out there and be a hobbled decoy, because it won't take teams like the Chiefs, the Bills, Ravens, and even to some degree or more, the Browns. They will be able to tell that he is just out there as a hobbled decoy 100%, and then they will put him back on single coverage and roll doubles over to T. The moment Jamar's back, if they can sense that he is not 100%, that he's not ready to really roll. So obviously, if he's 4 weeks and he's back, he's ready to roll, he's ready to get it done, and he's full 100%, or as 100% as you can get, this deep into a season, or that deep into a season, week 13, then great. Absolutely. And I hate to say this, as much as I don't want it, but if he needs another week, but we need Jamar back when he's right. As long as we still have a season ahead of us, and I believe we will, we need him back when he's right. We don't need him back out there, try to go hard for a half, and then he blows it up. He needs to be right. So I do have faith in the training staff, because they've seemed to have been able to handle La'el Collins correctly. Seemed like they've been able to handle, I think, T. They've handled him fairly well. And, yeah, I mean, it's, here you can see it too. So, yeah, we've got, so we got this one here, Browns, Panthers. Week 10 bye does not count on the IR designated return. Steelers, Tennessee Titans. Chiefs would be the first game he would be eligible to come back for, if he's ready. Not awesome. But and I'm gonna give credit to my buddy Dave. He um, he did mention that um, if we're trying to do a little bit of glass half full, I guess. I mean, there's no good time to lose Jamar Chase. So let's get that out of the way. But if we have to try to look at silver linings, I'd rather have him for the end of the season than lose him near the end of the season going into the playoffs. I'd rather have him gone for a chunk in the middle and then come back, and help push this team all the way. So that would be definitely more ideal. There it is. I don't know what's going on there. You do one little thing and you accidentally click one little thing and your backgrounds go all screwy. The beauty of green screen, yay. Um, so, it's not awesome. I wish this wasn't the case. I wish Jamar was just out there feeling great, hips great, ready to go torch the shit out of the Browns. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case this coming Monday. So, using that as a very mediocre segue, we're going to talk about the Browns coming up. We got them on Monday night, Halloween. We are at Cleveland, which is, again, maybe not ideal right now. But if there was ever a time to catch the Browns, now is a good time to catch the Browns. I mean, they're in bad shape. They're 2-5. They've lost 4 in a row. And a lot of reports, if you paid attention, if you saw any of the news reports, apparently during last week's post-game press conferences where Stefanski and I think Garrett was out there, doing their talks with the press and everything. Apparently, it was very audible, the yelling, shouting, name calling, and whatever else was going on that was definitely not rallying the troops type of stuff. It was more like pointing fingers stuff was going on in that locker room, and it was very audible to the press in attendance. So, I'll be honest with you. Good. Absolutely great. That's music to my ears right now. A crumbling locker room, a locker room that is starting to point fingers and question other, your teammates and maybe looking hard in the mirror and, and all that other stuff. Great. But do not think for a second that this Browns team is just going to curl up and go over in the corner and die. Because if they were to do that, it will be the following week. It will not be this week. Because this is and I don't know the Browns schedule. I don't know if they play another, because they just played the Ravens. Now they're going to play us. I doubt they're going to play the Steelers next. I don't know their schedule. I couldn't care. But they damn sure are not going to roll up and go over in the corner and die this week because it's a division game. And just like you all out there, you've watched how many times have we watched the Bengals and the Browns, and there's this strange thing that happens with these two teams that just defies expectations and it just boggles the mind. You watch these two teams, and one of them could be okay that year, and the other one could be an absolute dumpster, bottom of the damn league. And they come out, and it's like two teams in the Super Bowl. They're throwing touchdowns left and right. Game gets ugly and brutal and all that stuff because it's a division game. Browns may not know how to play good regular season football, but they damn sure know how to play division games, and they usually step up for that. So we'll see. But I don't expect them to, roll over and die unless we get up by like 4 touchdowns by the half and it's 28-0. If it's 28-0 at the half, they might do that. I don't expect that to happen though. So, damn it. So, the problem is the Browns do have 2 really excellent pass rushers. Um, Corners, maybe not their pass D is not the best. Their run D is pretty good, at least pretty decent. I know some people say that they're like one of the worst defenses in the league. Nah, they're not that bad. But they definitely have areas to exploit. Brown's offense, on the other hand, does tend to be able to score points. Of course, they have an excellent running attack. You got Chubb and Hunt back there. And now I do know they're down David Njoku, which is, I mean, at this point, hey, we've got an injury. I'll take any injury I can get from them. My understanding is Njoku's not going to play, although I guess that could still be up in there. This is Thursday. They have until I can't remember if they've already ruled him out or if it was just signs point to not likely. I don't know if they fully ruled him out already for Monday, but the Browns are in some troubled territory, and us as Bengals fans, we've been through those years when, 6-7 weeks in the season looks pretty damn bad already. We've been there, so we know what that looks like. We know what that feels like. It sounds like. And they'll come out and they'll put on a good face for the the press and all that stuff. They'll say the right things, but let's be honest, nobody's thinking great thoughts when you're 2-5. Now you're basically on life support as far as a season goes, let alone playoffs. Playoffs, you're talking about playoffs. You're just trying to stay alive at this point. You're just hoping to get back to 500. Then you can talk about, playoffs. So what do I expect from this game? God. Jamar being out really screws that up. Well, who do I think is going to step up in Jamar's place? And I know, a lot of people say, oh, go get OBJ. OBJ's not going to be ready till like damn near December. He's not. So forget that. It's not happening. Unless Jamar stays out longer, then I think you might see them go after someone like OBJ. Just say, fuck it. Especially if we're still in it, and we still got a good chance to hit the playoffs or maybe even get win the division or get a first round bye or something like that. I don't know if we're going to get a first round bye. I think Buffalo's got a hell of a unless Buffalo falls off, unless the first round bye comes back in play. Right now, I think they've kind of got the lead on that one. They got direct victory over Kansas City, if I remember correctly, too. So, but Jamar being out does change how I see this game a little bit. I wonder if they are going to try to figure out how to make the run game work a little better or lean to it a little bit more to try to grind down this damn defense so that they can't just pin their ears back and try to go after Burrow. And then Burrow be very surgical and picky with his decisions to for the, RPO and go pass option. I still think T. Higgins can go have himself a hell of a day, and I think Tyler Boyd is still going to be Tyler Boyd. I think it does require, though, that whoever comes in as the third receiver, wherever they slot him at, we know it's the third receiver from a skill position, ability-wise, but I don't know that they're going to, blow up Tyler Boyd's position and just move T into the Jamar Chase spot and then Boyd into the T. Higgins, because Tyler Boyd isn't T. Higgins. He can't play that kind of receiver. So they'll bring in someone to fill that gap on the X's and O's sheets, okay? And, I don't know if it'll be... is Mike Thomas hurt? I can't remember. Stanley Morgan is hurt. So will it be Mike Thomas? Will it be Trent Taylor? What was it, Kendrick Pryor? Will they call him up? Because if they move Jamar Chase to IR, then that opens up a roster spot. So would they call up like Kendrick Pryor and let the Rook go do something maybe? And because look, say what you will, I'm not saying he's going to be the next, Jerry Rice or anything, but nobody has any film on him. And if they do this early enough, Burrow's going to get a chance to work with him a little bit and get a feel for him, and maybe design a few plays designed to go to him directly when the defense doesn't expect it. But let's be honest. T's got to step up. I mean, he's got to go be big man on campus, you know. He's got to have a hell of a game. Boyd has to go out there and be full on capital T, capital B. He's got to go get it. And Hayden Hurst needs to become you know, when you're in an offense with this many wide receivers, I get it. You know, you're not going to get that many looks. But I think Hayden Hurst is going to have a bigger game. I think he's going to I think the game plan for him is going to have to be a little bigger. You can't rely on, you know, any 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th string or Kendrick Pryor as a you know, practice squad rookie. You can't rely on them to carry the load unless they're like the hot hand. You know, unless it gets out there and Burrow's like, whoa, this guy's great. He's on fire tonight. Let's just keep feeding the beast. Let's go. And we need a better day from Joe Mixon. We need Joe and Samaje to go out there and go get it. Does this mean Chris Evans gets into the game plan at receiver? Maybe. You know, maybe. That'd be okay. I'd be okay with that. You know, you be a little multiple in that regard as, you know, you have Chris and Joe Mixon out there, and they could switch positions sometimes and, you know, one be the back, you know, whatever. But I would say let's go with I think this will be a relatively low scoring game. I think it's going to be ugly, like a typical AFC North game would be. I do think, I mean, remember that the Browns are playing for their season right now. Doesn't sound like much, but 3-5 is a hell of a lot better than 2-5. So they're going to be playing for their season. I don't expect them to roll over and die. They're just not going to. But I do expect a rough game. I do expect the Bengals to win. So I'm going to say 24-21. I think there will be points there. I don't think they're going to come super easy. I definitely don't expect to see an offensive output like we saw against the Falcons. I think the Browns have some things the Falcons didn't have, defensively speaking. And offensively, they can pass the ball. Is Jacoby Brissett going to light up the NFL and become an all-pro? No. But I think he's a better passer than... Travis. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I looked down and I saw that and I couldn't help it. Travis says 2-0. 2-0. We're gonna get a safety, Travis. Is that how we're gonna? You gonna say we're gonna get a safety on him, and it's gonna be 2-0? Go ahead and comment back if that's what you're saying. That's hilarious. If that's what you're saying, that's hilarious as hell. So I think it'll be 24-21. I think it's going to be, there's going to be points there. They're going to score some points. I think we're going to score some points. I think eventually, one way or another, we eke out the win, or we hold them off to keep them from making a full-on comeback or something like that. That's how I feel. You know, losing Chase sucks. It absolutely does. There's no good time for it to happen, but if there is a time, middle of the season is much better than the end of the season leading into the playoffs. But I don't know. Maybe they might poach someone. They might try to look for, you know, maybe they have some eye on some wide receivers who are stuffed on somebody else's practice squad. I mean, they've done good with that. They've got that, what was his name? Max Sharping. And was that the tight end? They did it right before the end of the season. They poached a couple of people off of other people's practice squads. And, you know, I hate to say this, but now would also be about the right time to, if you can get, you know, I don't know, what, a fucking ham sandwich and a bag of chips for Jackson Carman, might want to get your lunch. You know, get lunch while you can get it. I would say it's time to move him. And look, Jackson Carman may end up being an okay lineman in the NFL, but it's not going to be on this team. It's never going to be with this franchise. They've lost all faith in him. And, maybe there's a team out there that just needs a body. They need a body to put in place. And so I hate to say it, but now's probably a good time to go ahead and try to capitalize on that. And if there is some value, if there's teams that have asked about Jackson Carman, get that damn deal done and just get on with it. So, yeah, I'm going to go 24-21. I hope like hell that they win. I think they definitely can. I think it's definitely a winnable game. The Browns are in a bad place, both psychologically and just quite frankly, their record. They're in a bad spot. I don't expect to see Kevin Stefanski get fired because I think the whole goal was to get Kevin Stefanski paired up with his quarterback, Deshaun Watson. I still have no idea why. Here's what I'll say. Let me say this. If Kevin Stefanski gets fired this season, before Deshaun Watson comes in, then I would tell you that means that Deshaun Watson was a Jimmy Haslam thing, not a Kevin Stefanski thing. I'm sure Kevin Stefanski said the right things. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, I'd love to have Deshaun Watson, blah, 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 whatever. I mean, if your boss is sitting here saying it's this guy's the best thing in the world and you like your job and you're like, well, I think he's kind of a douche, but he can throw the ball. Okay, I can work with that. I mean, Jimmy Haslam has a long history of drafting whoever the hell he wants, regardless of what his coaching staff wants. Don't know why he isn't the coach. Just coach it yourself, Jimmy. You know more than all of these football people you hire and fire. So, little side note there. If Kevin Stefanski gets fired this season, before Deshaun Watson gets back, it was Kevin Stefanski, it was never his real decision to get Deshaun Watson, and it was Haslam's. And Haslam got impatient again. So, delicious. I am definitely not getting any promotional value out of this, and I should be. But if you like Irish whiskey, Bushmills Black Bush is delicious. I can attest right here, right now. Anyway, so that's going to do it for Stripe Stream number 5. Thank you again. Like I said, I'm blown away. We just crested 1,000 subscribers. If you enjoy this, if you like what you're hearing, please subscribe. I want to keep growing the channel, so it allows me to keep doing what I enjoy. And eventually, that would allow me to also do this more. I do plan to do some talks soon. I'm working on background right now for Cobra Kai Season 5. I'm a little late to it, but I did watch it while I was on the airplane when we were over in Europe, visiting some place in Europe for vacation. And I did make sure to catch that while I had some captive time. And I got a few other things I want to talk about, a few other... going to see Black Adam this week, and I'll definitely want to talk about that one. That one might just be, I don't know if I'll live stream that one. I'll probably just record that and just post it. But looking forward to seeing that. I've seen the official press reviews of it, and then I've seen actual human beings talking about it, and I'm going to go with the actual human beings on this one. At least that's why I'm willing to, fork over the money for the tickets to go see it. But yeah, I'll be talking about some other things. And of course, gonna do my best to stay weekly with the Stripe streams. I might try to start, I don't know if I'll try to do these maybe Thursdays if I can, as best I can. I don't like waiting until Saturday to do them because everybody's doing things on Saturdays by then. So, in the meantime, yep. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Please share these videos with people you know if you like it. If you want to drop a comment either in the live streams or after the fact watching the videos, You want to hit me up directly through the Facebook page, Way of the Dad Podcast. Is that right? Is it Way of the Dad or Way of the Dad Podcast? It is Way of the Dad Podcast on Facebook. It is Way of the Dad on YouTube. But yeah, hit me up. Definitely get back to you. Love hearing from you. I'd love to hear any feedback if there's things I can do to make this better. Anything I'm missing. If there's something that seems obvious that I should be covering or talking about or looking into. Obviously, it does require my time. And if I have time to do it, I'll be happy to go into that. And especially if it fits with what I'm doing right now. So, going forward, going to keep growing, going to keep doing this, hopefully get some work done eventually on the actual physical background, but I know it's going to take time. And, but I appreciate all of the support and Who-Dey. And until next time, take care and have a great day.